Hello, my name is Kirsty and welcome to Upside Down Books. Today we're going to be doing my September TBR. Now I have a goal for September, guys. I've decided, actually I have a goal for the rest of the year. I've decided my TBR is not only out of control, but currently difficult to manage. So I'm going to focus month by month on completing a different goal, and in September I am doing Series September, which is something that I have just made up. So basically my goal for September is that I'm going to finish as many series as I can. I am a chronic series non-finisher. I have so many series on my bookshelf that are currently half done or one book away from being finished. So in September we're going to amend this and we're going to start ticking these off and finishing them. So I have 12 books that I'm going to try and finish reading in the month of September. Gonna try. I do think it's possible. I think some of them are a little big, but I've managed to read I think 11 or 12 books in August, so I have hope. But let's get into it. We're going to be starting off the month by reading If I Should Die by Amy Plum. Amy Plum is one of my favourite authors because of this series, and I've been meaning to finish it for so long. I love this series. This is fantastic. This is like paranormal urban fantasy about the undead but not zombies, more like angels. Difficult to explain, but this series is fantastic. The main character is awesome in this one and it has a beautiful cover. So this is going to kickstart the month and we will be finishing off the Revenant series with If I Should Die. Next we're going to be moving on to Bitter Blue by Kristin Cashore. This is the final book in the Graceling Realm trilogy. I can never remember what that's called, and I have a really nice edition of it. It doesn't match my other two books, but it's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. This one is one of the bigger books on my list, but I really want to finish off the series. Like, I really want to do it. So this is second on the list with the hope that it being second means it will get done, right? That's going to happen. So this is going to be the next series I finish. This will complete the Graceling Realm trilogy for me. Next, we're going to be finishing off a series that has caused me stress for many, many years. This series, I put down reading halfway through it about 10 years ago. And we are finally going to finish it, and that is the Inkwell trilogy by Cornelia Funk. So I am going to be starting again from the beginning. I'm going to be rereading Inkheart, which is going to be nice and short and easy to do. I'm familiar with the story, it's going to be fine, but I need to refresh myself. So we're going to be starting with Inkheart, following it with Inkspell, and finishing it off with Inkdeath. Previously I got halfway through Inkspell, so Inkdeath will be entirely new content for me, but I cannot even tell you how like stress-free my life is going to be when I finish off these books. It's going to be fantastic. Next we're going to be moving on to finish off a couple of duologies. So we're going to be starting with Shadowscale by Rachel Hartman. This is the sequel to Seraphina, which I absolutely adored. I only read that one a couple of years ago, so it's not been sitting on my shelf too long, but it's an easy one to finish off. I think at this point I'm either going to be nicely on track or falling behind. I don't know how fast I'm going to read this one because the first one was slightly heavy because of world building, but I'm either going to fly through this one or it's going to start sticking me up. The next duology I'll be finishing off is the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. So I'll be reading Crooked Kingdom this month. I have a feeling this is where things are actually going to stop if I get through Seraphina. This is a big book, and I don't know how fast I'm going to read it, but we're going to hope because I still have 2 more series I want to finish off. So fingers crossed I can get through those 2 books that I think are going to be my sticking points and finish them off. I love this duology. It's absolutely fantastic, so fingers crossed we get to it. So the way I've ordered this is I've started with all the books, or the series, where I just have 1 book to go until I complete that series, and I've tacked on to the end a couple of series where I have at least 2 books to go before I reach the ends. So let me show you those ones now. The first one being the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children trilogy. I have read the first one, so I just have Hollow City, Library of Souls, and the little novella to go with it. This one's more bonus points than anything. If I'm actually on track with the reading, I'll read this one, otherwise I probably will leave it for another time. But I'm really enjoying this series. It's super creepy, but I actually really like it, so these ones will definitely be quick reads for me if I get around to them. So fingers crossed I can do that and polish off that series there. And the last series I have to finish for September is the Watersong Quartet by Amanda Hocking. I'm really hoping I can finish these ones. Elegy, which is the last one, is actually a fairly chunky read for Amanda Hocking. It's like triple the size of her usual books, but I do just have Title and Elegy left to go, so I'm hoping I can get to them and finish them off. Because I read Wake and Lullaby several years ago now, so I'd really like to finish them off while I still can semi-remember how the storyline goes. So those are just a few of the series I'm going to try and finish off in September. I'm trying to be reasonable here and not push myself to finish too many. I think 12 is an achievable goal, especially as one of those books is a novella bind-up, which I'm not fussed if I read or not. I have like 3 times that amount of books to read if I want to actually make progress with like every single series on my shelf. But these are the series we're going to focus on with this September, and fingers crossed I can get through them. I'm hoping to actually set a goal every month from September onwards to kind of tackle a different problem that's causing me stress in my TBR. I'd love to know what you guys think, or if anyone else wants to join in with completing series with me in September, but I'm thinking I'm going to do an old October and read the books that have been on my TBR for the longest. So I'm thinking I might structure the rest of my year like that, just so I can get rid of those books that are causing me stress and move on with my life. If I complete my TBR in September, I will have finished 7 series, which is the best news ever, because I've refused to start any new series such as the Lunar Chronicles or the Raven Cycle until I have finished some. So let's all cross our fingers that I get it done. Alrighty, so this is my TBR for September that I am hopefully gonna finish. It looks really ambitious and intimidating when I hold it up this way, but we're gonna see if we can do it, because that would be amazing. But that is all I have for you today. But let me know what you're planning on reading down in the comments below, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!